Hi, I'm Amanda, and I want to talk today about energy drainers and energy amplifiers. So, I had this experience last week where I had a lot of different calls with different people. And the nature of my business, the nature of working as a coach and a facilitator is that you are almost continuously in contact with other people. So, it is something that I do love, but there's a limit. I consider myself someone who's quite extroverted, although I have actually noticed over the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic, that a lot of that was social training as well. So I have much more of an introverted streak than I realized previously. So I love spending time with people, but I need almost an equal amount of time to recharge my batteries after I've had that much exposure to others. So I started to see that this pattern was emerging where I was having a lot of different calls, a lot of different topics, using many different parts of my brain, a lot of different energy. Some of the conversations I was having were quite simple, straightforward, easy. Some were social, some were more challenging. So maybe some client scenarios that were quite challenging and made me use a different part of my energy and way of being. And I had forgotten in all that time and all that scheduling and all the work I was doing to balance out the things that really drain my batteries with things that really energize them. So for me, this might look like if I know I have a full day of facilitation, I love facilitating, I get a lot of energy from it, but I know that the day after, I'm going to be exhausted. So I use a lot of energy in that moment and I need that recovery time. That would mean that when I'm planning my time, planning my schedule, I put a facilitation day in. I know that at least 1 or 2 days afterwards need to be more quiet, still activities that I'm just on my own. Maybe that's writing, maybe that's reflecting, maybe that's absolutely no meetings at all, so that I'm able to actually recover my energy from that experience. So that's one thing, thinking about that balance. There's also the element, I'm just checking if the cat is sneaking up behind me as he's been doing all day, but now I see he's over here. um, Another thing that I'm doing to not just balance that energy, but is to really understand what lifts my energy. So maybe I have a situation where I know I'm going to have a stressful conversation or I'm going to have a stressful client engagement. What is it that I can do to actually lift my energy back again? And these could be anything, and they're very individual. So for me, that would be going for a walk in nature. I have a beautiful park about 10 minutes away. So after I get off a client call that's stressful, I can just go walk in nature, let myself experience the trees and the grass and the sky and all these different things. I can dance around the living room. So I just put on a song or a few songs or a playlist that I love listening to and actually just move my body and start actually dancing and moving and freeing some of that energy. I could go do a spin class, which I haven't done in quite a while. So that actually feels like it might be a bigger hurdle than just dancing around the living room. But I know that I love spinning. I know that it gives me energy, it increases endorphins. Um, Something else I can do is write or listen to music that I love. So there's different things that I have discovered for myself that actually lift my energy level back up. I don't get this right every time. I am not perfect. I have not figured out the absolute secret to do it right all the time. And that's where it's really important to have a network or friends or peers or colleagues who can support you in those moments. For me, I'm really lucky that my partner is really supportive and he can see when my energy has been really drained. So even if I don't notice it right away, he might be the one to say, "Hey, Amanda, it seems like it might be a good idea just to go for a walk now. I can feel that you're feeling really low energy. Maybe you want to balance that." Of course, he doesn't use those words. He just says, "Hey, maybe you want to go for a walk." Um, but the point is that, you know, you don't have to feel bad if you don't always recognize it yourself. But the more self aware you become, the easier it becomes to spot when your energy is really low, when you're leaking energy, if you will, and how to balance it. The more that you start to get to know yourself and what these things are for you, the easier it is to plan in advance. So then you can start actually planning your week in a way that you know is going to support you. Maybe that means you still have a difficult week ahead, but you know that you're planning in that downtime or that energizing time that's going to help you to get through it. Um, and I think over time, you start to find a schedule and a rhythm that really works for you. This is where a lot of the work that I do starts to flow into building habits and building rituals and really finding these routines that support you to operate at your best. So even though I have rebelled very often against my own rhythm and routines because sometimes I don't want to be locked in to a particular way of being, every time that I sit down in the morning and I give myself space to just do some breathing, some meditation, some journaling, my day goes a lot smoother. I feel much more grounded. I feel centered. I feel happy. Then everything that comes after that brings that energy in with it. The same thing goes when I have a really stressful week. That can be the easiest time to decide, oh no, I don't have time. I can't do this. I'm going to fall off track just for this week and I'll come back later. It's never a good idea to let that slip, especially in those stressful moments. And if you're in a new environment and let's say you can't really fulfill that same routine in the way that you would when you're home, find different ways to engage yourself in feeling good. Maybe that's a diet change. So okay, if I'm going to eat pasta tonight, I'm going to be really tired. So maybe that night you don't eat pasta. You just eat a lot of healthy vegetables and quinoa or whatever that looks like for you. Um, that you're giving your body always that chance to recover and to feel really good. So, of course, this is something that's really front and center for me at the moment because I just had this lived experience last week of having so many different conversations that really took over my agenda and having to bring myself back to that reminder of, okay, my batteries are really drained. What am I doing to recover and then re-energize myself? So this is something that you can do at any moment in time. It's never too late. When you feel that you really need that extra oomph in your day, already be prepared with what those are. So some steps that you can take just to make this really clear is track the things that drain your energy so that you know in advance. Otherwise, it's really hard to identify what specifically, took that energy out of you. So you can actually track that energy, see where your energy leaks are, recognize what the things are that actually give you energy throughout the day, and find a way to balance those activities better and then come up with different solutions for yourself. So, one being daily rituals that you know will always get you started on the right foot, but that when your batteries are super drained, what are those actions or activities that you can take that you know are going to help give you that boost that you need to feel good again? Um, Definitely recognize that you don't have to be up all the time. This is not about having your energy operating up here all day, every day. It's not realistic. It's not even good for you. So it's not about falsely increasing your energy. It's really about recognizing that sometimes you just need stillness, and that might be what you need in that moment. Just allowing that to be okay to rest before you try to do anything to amplify how you're feeling. So you know your body best. You will be able to pay attention to the signs. And if you are looking for ways to really understand those energy levels better, um, send me a message, get in touch. I have an energy tracker that is incredibly valuable that helps you to really see where you're leaking energy and what are some of those tactics and habits and rituals that you can build into your day-to-day life that will support you in feeling really good. So I am looking forward to hear from you what you discover. So, what are some of those drainers that you've uncovered for yourself, and where are some of those areas that you know without a doubt you always get a boost of energy? I can't wait to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.